Maya's parents treated her like a housemaid for years. On Thanksgiving Eve, her mother smiled with disdain. Ashley's fiancé's family is coming for dinner tomorrow. Get everything ready. She expected Maya to cook for 15 people, clean and bow down as always. Maya smiled back. That night, she caught a flight to California. When they arrived and saw the empty kitchen, her mother's face went pale. But the real surprise was yet to come. Maya always knew there was something wrong with her family's dynamics. While Ashley, her 25-year-old sister, spent hours at the salon getting her nails done and choosing dresses, Maya was in the kitchen preparing lunch for everyone. While Ashley complained that the Wi-Fi was slow in her room, Maya cleaned the house bathrooms. At 28, she still lived with her parents, but not because she couldn't move out. She stayed because she believed family was everything, even when that family treated her like she was, well, the maid. Robert and Margaret always had a favorite daughter, and it definitely wasn't Maya. Ashley received expensive gifts, trips, attention, praise. Maya received another task list. Clean this, organize that, cook for us, do the laundry. It was like this every day, every month, every year. But Maya had something that no one in the family suspected. Every night, after the house became quiet, after everyone went to sleep, she turned on her old laptop in the small room she called her own. And there, in those early morning hours, she worked on something that would completely change her life, something that gave her a sense of power and control that she never felt during the day. Maya's family was about to discover that underestimating someone can have consequences they never imagined. That year's Thanksgiving wouldn't be just another holiday. It would be the day when everything would change forever. And the biggest irony of it all? Maya had more reasons to be grateful than any of them could imagine. Before we continue, tell us, what city and country are you watching us from? Leave it in the comments. We love knowing where our listeners are around the world. Maya woke up at 6 in the morning to the sound of her alarm vibrating under her pillow. She always put it that way so she wouldn't wake anyone in the house. After all, the others would still sleep for a few more hours, and Maya had work to do. As she walked through the silent house toward the kitchen, she looked at the living room. The pillows were thrown on the couch, empty glasses on the coffee table, potato chip crumbs on the floor. Ashley had watched Netflix with her boyfriend the night before, and, of course, hadn't cleaned anything. Maya sighed. Another morning starting exactly like all the others in the past 10 years. In the kitchen, she prepared coffee for the whole family. Strong coffee for Robert, who always complained when it was weak. Coffee with milk and 2 spoonfuls of sugar for Margaret, served in the porcelain cup she had received from her mother-in-law. And iced coffee with whipped cream for Ashley, because she said hot coffee was for old people. While waiting for the coffee to brew, Maya began preparing breakfast: scrambled eggs for Robert, whole wheat toast with strawberry jam for Margaret, and pancakes with maple syrup for Ashley. 3 people, 3 different requests, 3 ways for Maya to show she cared, even when nobody seemed to care about her. At 7 o'clock sharp, Maya went upstairs and knocked gently on her parents' bedroom door. "Coffee is ready," she said quietly. Then she went to Ashley's room and repeated the same ritual. Ashley just mumbled something like, "Leave it in the kitchen," without even opening her eyes. Robert came down first, as always. He wore a gray suit that Maya had ironed the night before. He picked up his coffee cup, took a few sips, and nodded with approval. "A good coffee today, Maya." That was the most recognition she got from him. Margaret appeared a few minutes later, already dressed for another day of meetings at the Neighborhood Women's Association. She took her porcelain cup and toast, checked if the jam was spread evenly, and murmured, "Thank you," without looking up from her phone. Ashley was the last to come down, of course. She wore a fluffy pink robe and slippers with bunny ears. At 25, she still dressed like a spoiled teenager. She picked up her iced coffee, tasted it, and made a face. "Maya, did you put enough whipped cream? It seems like there's less than yesterday." Maya looked at the cup. There was the same amount of whipped cream as always. "I can add more if you want, Ashley." "Never mind, but next time remember to be generous, okay?" Ashley took her pancakes and sat at the table, already opening Instagram on her phone. This was the family's morning routine. Maya woke up first, prepared everything, served everyone, and then cleaned everything alone. Meanwhile, Robert read the news on his tablet. Margaret planned her day on her phone, and Ashley posted breakfast photos as if she had prepared everything herself. It was fascinating to watch how Ashley managed to turn those pancakes into social media content. "Perfect breakfast to start the day," she typed, adding heart and star emojis. Comments started appearing immediately. "Delicious. You cook so well. Recipe, please." Ashley smiled and responded as if she really knew how to do anything in the kitchen besides complain. Maya watched all this while washing the pan where she had made the pancakes. Nobody ever asked who really cooked. Nobody questioned how Ashley, who could barely make a sandwich, managed to prepare breakfast every day. It was as if Maya were invisible. After everyone left the house, Maya finally had a moment of silence. She washed all the dishes, cleaned the counter, swept the kitchen floor, tidied the living room, vacuumed the carpet, and organized the shoes at the entrance. By 10 in the morning, the house was spotless again. But here's where Maya's story gets really interesting. Because while her family only saw her as the person who took care of everything, Maya had a completely different life happening right under their noses. She went up to her little room on the second floor. It was the smallest room in the house, with a single bed, an old dresser, and a wooden desk she had bought years ago. On the desk was her laptop, a 3-year-old model she had bought with her own savings. Maya sat in the chair and opened the computer. The screen lit up showing her desktop, full of organized folders with names like Johnson Client, Summer Campaign, Monthly Report. She smiled. This was her real world. Maya owned a digital marketing company called Digital Dreams. 5 years ago, she started offering simple social media services to small local businesses. Today, she managed online campaigns for companies in several states. Her clients didn't know she worked from her parents' house bedroom. To them, Maya was a competent and reliable businesswoman. The irony was delicious. Downstairs, Ashley posted poorly edited photos on Instagram and thought she understood social media. Meanwhile, Maya created marketing strategies that increased her clients' sales by double-digit percentages. Ashley got 50 likes on a photo. Maya generated thousands of dollars in sales for her clients every month. That morning, she had 7 campaigns to review, 3 reports to finish, and an important proposal to send. While working, Maya could hear Ashley returning from shopping downstairs, probably carrying bags from expensive stores paid for with her parents' credit card. Maya shook her head and focused on work. She was finishing a campaign for a small bakery in Chicago when she received a payment notification on her phone. Another $2,800 entered her account. It was payment from a Dallas client for a campaign that increased his online sales by 40% in the last month. She smiled and went back to work. Her bank account had over $35,000 in savings, money she had earned with her own effort, her own intelligence, her own dedication. Meanwhile, Ashley needed to ask her parents for money to buy a new lipstick. The most incredible thing was that nobody in the family had any idea. When Maya said she had some little online jobs, they assumed she made a few bucks selling used things. They never asked for details. They never showed curiosity. To them, Maya wasn't capable of anything important. Maya worked until noon when she stopped to prepare lunch. Another meal for 3 different people, once again cleaning alone afterward. But now she did all this with a different smile on her face, because she knew something they didn't know. She had power. She had independence. She had choices. And soon, everyone would discover exactly what Maya was capable of doing. Think about this. How many people around you might you be underestimating? Leave in the comments. Have you ever felt underestimated by people close to you? And if this story is making you reflect, leave a like on this video, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of our exciting stories. Your participation means a lot to us. Maya was finishing folding the family's clothes when she heard Margaret arriving home in a hurry. It was mid-afternoon on a Wednesday, Thanksgiving Eve thus, and Margaret had just returned from another meeting at the Neighborhood Women's Association. From the sound of heels on the wooden floor and the speed of her steps, Maya already knew something important was happening. "Maya, Ashley, come to the living room now," Margaret shouted from downstairs, with that tone of voice she used when she wanted to make an important announcement. Maya sighed and dropped the basket of clean clothes in her parents' room. Ashley appeared in the hallway, coming out of her own room, still in pajamas at 3 in the afternoon, holding her phone in her hand as always. "What does Mom want now?" Ashley asked, making an annoyed face. "I hope it's nothing boring. I'm in the middle of an important conversation with Brittany about my wedding dress." Maya didn't respond. She simply went downstairs behind her sister, already imagining that whatever Margaret had to announce would probably mean more work for her. In the living room, Margaret was standing in the middle of the room with a smile on her face that Maya knew well. It was the smile she made when she was about to organize some social event that would make her look good in the community. A smile that usually meant double work for Maya. "Girls, I have wonderful news," Margaret said, clasping her hands in front of her chest as if she were about to announce she had won the lottery. Ashley threw herself on the couch, still fiddling with her phone. "Just say it, Mom. I'm busy." Maya stood near the door, waiting. She had learned long ago that it was better to stay in a position where she could quickly leave the room when Margaret started handing out tasks. "I just talked to Tyler's mother at the association," Margaret continued, referring to Ashley's fiancé. "And she told me that the whole family wants to see our house and spend Thanksgiving with us." Ashley finally looked up from her phone. "Really? Tyler's whole family is coming here?" "Yes, 15 people. Ashley. His mother, father, grandparents, uncles, cousins, everyone." Margaret was practically bouncing with joy. "They want to meet our family before the wedding. It's a family tradition of theirs." Maya felt her stomach sink. 15 people for Thanksgiving dinner. At their house. Tomorrow. Wow, that's incredible. Ashley jumped off the couch, finally excited. "I'll be able to show Tyler's whole family how cool our family is. I need to choose the perfect dress. And get my nails done. Oh my God, my nails look horrible." She looked at her own hands as if seeing them for the first time. "Mom, do you think I can still get an appointment at the salon today?" Margaret looked at her daughter's nails with concern. "Of course, dear. Call Jennifer's salon right now. Tell them it's urgent. And while you're at it, book a hair appointment too. You need to be perfect to meet your future husband's family." While mother and daughter discussed details about beauty salons and dresses, Maya remained standing there, waiting, because she knew that at some point, inevitably, the conversation would turn to her. And it did. Margaret turned to Maya with that smile that didn't reach her eyes. "Maya, dear, it's going to be an unforgettable Thanksgiving. You'll need to prepare a complete dinner for 15 people. Roasted turkey, mashed potatoes, homemade cranberry sauce, stuffing, pumpkin pie, apple pie." She started counting on her fingers. "Oh, and we'll need themed decorations too. Fall leaves, candles, those beautiful things you know how to make." Maya listened to every word in silence. It wasn't a question, it wasn't a request, it was an order disguised as casual conversation. "And the house will need to be spotless," Margaret continued. "You know how it is, Maya. First impressions are important. The living room needs to be perfect. The bathroom's clean, the table set with our best china." Ashley, who had gone back to fiddling with her phone, looked up for a second. "Oh, and Maya, make sure the table looks really beautiful, okay? Like, really elegant. I want Tyler's family to see that we have class." Maya nodded her head. "Of course," was all she managed to say. "Perfect." Margaret clapped her hands. "So it's settled. Ashley, you're going to the salon to get ready. I'm going to the supermarket to buy everything Maya will need to cook. And Maya," she looked directly at Maya, "you have tonight and tomorrow morning to get everything ready. Dinner needs to be on the table at 5 o'clock sharp." Maya did the math in her head. It was almost 4 in the afternoon on Wednesday. That meant she had less than 25 hours to prepare a complete dinner for 15 people, decorate the entire house, clean everything, and on top of that, make it look like it was all easy. "Is there a problem, Maya?" Margaret asked, noticing the hesitation. "No, Mom. Everything's fine." "Great. So let's all get to our tasks. Ashley, call the salon now." "Maya, you can start thinking about the menu and make a list for me to buy everything." While Ashley left the room already dialing the salon and Margaret grabbed her purse to go shopping, Maya stood there for a moment. She looked around the living room, imagining what it would be like to transform that space into something worthy of impressing 15 strangers in less than a day. Once again, Maya would be the invisible person who made all the magic happen behind the scenes. Ashley would be the princess being admired. Margaret would be the perfect hostess receiving all the compliments. And Maya would be, well, Maya would be Maya, the person who made everything happen, but whom nobody would notice. She went up to her room and got paper and pen to make the shopping list. As she wrote each item, Maya thought about how strange it would be to prepare a Thanksgiving dinner for people she didn't even know, while her own family treated her as if she weren't part of the celebration. But Maya didn't know that this Thanksgiving would be different from all the others. She couldn't imagine that in less than 24 hours, that house would be empty and she would be in a completely different place, discovering opportunities that would change her life forever. For now, all Maya could do was write turkey, potatoes, wines at the top of the shopping list and prepare to once again be her own family's housemaid. Maya spent the next 2 hours writing and rewriting the shopping list for Thanksgiving dinner. 15 people. She had never cooked for so many people at once. A 20-pound turkey, 5 pounds of potatoes for mashing, ingredients for 3 different pies, fall decorations, scented candles, and elegant napkins. The list kept growing and growing. While calculating quantities and thinking about how to organize her time to prepare everything, Maya heard her phone ringing in her room. It was a different ringtone, one she specifically set for work calls. She ran to answer it. "Maya speaking," she said, using the professional tone she reserved for clients. "Maya, so good to reach you." It was Victoria, her client from San Francisco. But there was something different in her voice, an urgency Maya had never heard before. "I hope you're sitting down, because I have incredible news." Maya sat on the edge of the bed, curious. Victoria was a very successful technology consultant who had been hiring Maya for 2 years to manage her company's digital marketing campaigns. She was one of Maya's favorite clients, always punctual with payments and very respectful. "What happened, Victoria? Remember that campaign you created for me last month? The one that increased my sales by 60%? Maya smiled. Of course she remembered. It had been one of the most creative campaigns she had ever developed, mixing SEO strategies with content marketing in a completely innovative way. "Of course I remember. Why?" "Maya, I showed your work to some contacts of mine here in San Francisco. Big Silicon Valley people, you know, and they were impressed. Very impressed." Maya's heart started beating faster. "Really? There's a company here, TechFlow Solutions, that's looking for someone exactly like you. They need a digital marketing strategist to launch a new product nationally. It's a big project. Maya, very big." Maya felt a mixture of excitement and nervousness. "What kind of project?" $15,000, Victoria said directly, for a 3-month campaign. But here's the incredible part. If it works out, they want to make an annual contract. "We're talking about over $100,000 a year, Maya." Maya almost dropped the phone. $100,000 a year. That was more money than she had ever dreamed of earning. More than Robert made at his job. More than the entire family spent in a year. "But there's a catch," Victoria continued. "They want to meet you in person, tomorrow." "Tomorrow?" Maya repeated, confused. "I know it's short notice, but they're in the final selection process. There are 2 other people competing with you, and the decision will be made by Friday. They want you to come to San Francisco tomorrow for an in-person presentation." Maya looked out her bedroom window. Down below, she could see Margaret returning from the supermarket with a car full of bags, dollars spent on tomorrow's dinner, and here was Maya receiving an opportunity to earn $15,000 with a single campaign. "Maya, are you still there?" "Yes, sorry. It's just, tomorrow is Thanksgiving." "I know, and I'm sorry about that. But this is one of those once-in-a-lifetime opportunities. TechFlow is expanding to the East Coast, and they want someone who understands both technology and traditional marketing. Your portfolio is perfect for them." Maya closed her eyes. In her head, images began flashing of what she would have to do in the next 24 hours if she stayed home. Wake up at 5 in the morning to start preparing the turkey. Peel potatoes. Make 3 pies from scratch. Decorate the entire house. Clean everything. Serve 15 strangers. Wash all the dishes afterward. And at the end of the day, when everyone left, nobody would thank her. Nobody would acknowledge her work. Ashley would post photos on social media, taking all the credit. "What time is the meeting?" Maya asked, surprising herself. 2 in the afternoon. "I can send a car to pick you up at the airport." And Maya, they already said that if you impress them tomorrow, they can close the deal on the spot. Maya took a deep breath. She thought about the look Margaret would have when she discovered there was nobody to cook tomorrow. She thought about Ashley having to explain to the groom's family why there was no dinner. She thought about Robert, furious about having to order pizza on Thanksgiving. And then she thought about herself. She thought about years of being treated like a housemaid. She thought about all the times her parents introduced Ashley as "our daughter who's getting married" and Maya as "our daughter who, well, Maya lives with us." She thought about how many opportunities she had already lost because she always put family first. "Victoria," Maya said, and her voice came out firmer than she expected. "Send me the meeting details. I'll be there." "Really? Maya, that's fantastic. You won't regret this, I promise. This company can change your life." After she hung up the phone, Maya sat on the bed for a few minutes, processing what had just happened. She had just chosen her career over family. For the first time in her life, she had put her own dreams first. Maya opened her laptop and started searching for flights to San Francisco. She found a flight at 7 Thursday morning that would arrive in San Francisco at noon, local time. Perfect for a 2 o'clock meeting. While buying the ticket online, Maya heard Margaret shouting from downstairs, "Maya, come help me with the groceries." But Maya didn't go down. For the first time in 28 years, she had something more important to do than respond to her mother's requests. She had a presentation to prepare, a presentation that could change her life forever. Maya smiled as she typed in her credit card information. The card she paid for with her own money, earned through her own work, building her own career. Tomorrow, while her family discovered what it was like to be without her, Maya would be 3,000 miles away, proving her worth to people who truly recognized her talent. The question that remains is, have you ever had to choose between pleasing other people and pursuing your own dreams? Leave in the comments a situation where you had to make a difficult decision between what was expected of you and what you really wanted for your life. Maya could barely sleep on Wednesday night into Thursday. It wasn't nervousness about the meeting, although she was excited about the opportunity. It was something different. It was the strange feeling of doing something completely for herself, without thinking about what the family needed or expected from her. At 5 Thursday morning, she got up silently. The house was in complete silence. Robert wouldn't wake up before 7, Margaret at 7:30, and Ashley, well, Ashley would probably sleep until 10, even though it was Thanksgiving. Maya moved through her room like a shadow, taking clothes from the closet and putting them in the small suitcase she used on the rare occasions when she traveled. She chose her most professional outfit, a navy blue blazer she had bought 2 years ago, a simple white blouse, and well-cut black pants. These were clothes she never wore at home, because it didn't make sense to dress well to clean bathrooms and cook. While folding the clothes and putting them in the suitcase, Maya thought about all the Thanksgiving mornings of recent years. Always the same routine. Wake up at 5, start preparing the turkey, Spend the entire day in the kitchen while everyone watched parades and football games on TV? At the end of the day, she was exhausted, smelling like food, with hands dried out from washing so many dishes. But today would be different. Maya took her laptop and put it in her backpack along with the presentation documents she had prepared the night before. Her proposal for TechFlow Solutions was 15 detailed pages, with marketing strategies she knew were innovative and effective. At 5:30, she was ready. Maya looked around the little room one last time. On the desk, papers were still scattered with the shopping list for the Thanksgiving she would never prepare. Maya took a blank sheet and wrote a simple note. Work trip, back in a few days. Maya. She left the note on top of the dresser, clearly visible, and took her things. In the hallway, Maya stopped for a moment in front of her parents' bedroom door. She could hear Robert snoring softly. In 2 hours, he would wake up expecting to find coffee ready and Maya already working in the kitchen. Going downstairs, Maya thought about leaving another note in the kitchen, but decided not to. One note was enough. They would eventually find it. The Uber she had called was waiting in front of the house. Maya went out the front door, something she rarely did early in the morning, and walked to the car. The driver, a nice man named David, greeted her with a smile. Airport, he asked, putting her suitcase in the trunk. Airport, Maya confirmed, and felt a wave of freedom she had never experienced before. During the 40-minute drive to the airport, Maya looked out the window at the city waking up. People leaving for work, children waiting for school buses, normal life happening. But for Maya, this wasn't a normal morning. It was the first day of the rest of her life. At the airport, Maya checked in and went through security without rushing. She had plenty of time before the 7 o'clock flight. She sat in a cafe near the departure gate and ordered a cappuccino and a croissant. Food that she chose, that she paid for, that she ate without having to serve anyone first. While drinking coffee, Maya opened her laptop and reviewed her presentation one more time. Charts showing the growth of campaigns she had created, testimonials from satisfied clients, detailed strategies for launching TechFlow's product. It was quality work, she knew that. The 6-hour flight to San Francisco passed quickly. Maya worked for most of the time, refining presentation details and researching more about TechFlow Solutions. It was a medical technology company that developed innovative devices for hospitals. The product they wanted to launch was a patient monitoring system that could revolutionize medical care. When the plane landed in San Francisco at noon, local time, Maya felt like a completely different person. She was no longer the Maya who woke up at 6 to make coffee for the family. She was Maya, digital marketing consultant, businesswoman, independent woman, traveling to an important business meeting. At San Francisco Airport, Victoria was waiting with a sign that read, Maya, Digital Dreams. When they met, Victoria gave Maya a warm hug. You made it. So good to finally see you in person, Victoria said. How was the flight? Perfect, Maya replied. And it was true. Everything was perfect. Victoria took her to a modest but comfortable hotel in the city center. It wasn't luxurious, but it was clean, organized, and Maya was paying with her own money. Money she had earned, that she had saved, that she decided to spend. In the hotel room, Maya took a quick shower and dressed for the meeting. When she looked in the mirror, she saw a professional, confident woman ready to impress important clients. It was hard to believe that on the same morning, her family had woken up expecting her to be in the kitchen, preparing turkey. At 2 o'clock sharp, Maya was in the reception of TechFlow Solutions, holding her folder with the presentation. The building was modern, with large glass windows and an elegant lobby. It was the kind of place where Maya had always imagined she could work, but never believed she would get there. Maya Williams. A young woman approached. I'm Sarah, the CEO's assistant. He's eager to meet you. As she followed Sarah through the company corridors, Maya thought about the irony of the situation. At that exact moment, her family was probably discovering that there was no food prepared for Thanksgiving. Margaret should be panicking, Ashley crying, Robert furious, But Maya was exactly where she wanted to be, and for the first time in her life, she didn't feel guilty about putting her own dreams first. The meeting room door opened, and Maya entered the encounter that would change her life forever. Robert was the first to wake up on Thanksgiving morning, as always. At 7 o'clock sharp, he went downstairs expecting to find the familiar aroma of fresh coffee and maybe even the smell of turkey already in the oven. Maya always started early on special dinner days, but the kitchen was in complete silence. Robert looked around, confused. No coffee prepared, no smell of food. The counters were empty, with no sign of preparation for the dinner that was supposed to feed 15 people in 10 hours. "Maya," he called, thinking maybe she was in the bathroom. Silence. Robert went upstairs and knocked on Maya's bedroom door. No answer. He opened the door and found the room empty, the bed made, and a note on the dresser. "Work trip. Back in a few days. Maya." Robert read the note 3 times before fully understanding what was happening. Maya had left. On Thanksgiving. On the day she was supposed to prepare dinner for Ashley's entire fiancé's family. "Margaret!" he shouted. Margaret woke up startled. "What's wrong, Robert? Why are you shouting?" "Maya's gone." Robert showed the note to his wife. "She left. Today, on Thanksgiving." Margaret took the note and read it with wide eyes. "This can't be happening," she murmured. "Tyler's family arrives at 5 in the afternoon. 15 people? Robert? 15 people!" Panic quickly took over the house. Margaret ran to the kitchen to check if Maya had at least started some preparation the night before. Nothing. The turkey was still in the freezer, frozen solid. The potatoes were in the shopping bag. The ingredients for the pies were still in their original packages. Ashley appeared in the kitchen in pajamas, hair disheveled, rubbing her eyes. "Why are you making so much noise?" "I'm trying to sleep." "Maya left!" Margaret shouted, showing her the note. Ashley took the paper and read it. For a few seconds, she showed no reaction. Then, slowly, reality began to sink in. "Wait," Ashley said, her voice starting to tremble. "She left? Today? But what about dinner? What about Tyler's family?" "Exactly!" Margaret shouted. "Your future in-laws arrive in 10 hours expecting a perfect Thanksgiving dinner, and we have nothing." Ashley looked at the empty kitchen as if seeing it for the first time. Frozen turkey, raw potatoes, empty counters. Reality hit her like a slap in the face. "No, no, 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 no!" Ashley began to panic. "This can't be happening. Tyler said his mother is very particular. She already doesn't like me much. If she gets here and there's no dinner..." "Calm down, girls." Robert tried to take control of the situation. "It can't be that hard. It's just cooking, right?" Margaret and Ashley looked at him as if he had suggested they build a rocket. "Robert," Margaret said slowly, "do you know how to cook anything besides scrambled eggs?" Robert opened his mouth to answer, but realized he didn't know. In 30 years of marriage, Maya had always cooked. Always. He didn't even know how to season chicken, let alone roast a 20-pound turkey. "Well, there have to be recipes on the internet, right?" he suggested, without much conviction. Ashley started pacing back and forth in the kitchen. "You don't understand. Tyler's mother already thinks our family is kind of disorganized. She always makes comments about how traditional and organized her family is. If she gets here and sees we can't even make dinner..." "Okay, everyone take a deep breath," Margaret said, trying to calm herself. "Let's think. Maya always makes it look easy. It can't be that complicated." For the next 3 hours, the house became a culinary battlefield. Margaret tried to defrost the turkey in the microwave and ended up half-cooking the outside while the center remained frozen. Robert tried to make mashed potatoes and managed to create a sticky paste that looked more like glue. Ashley cried 3 times and gave up trying to do anything after breaking 2 eggs while trying to separate them for a pie. By 2 in the afternoon, the kitchen looked like a war zone. Dirty pots piled in the sink, flour scattered on the floor, a strange smell coming from the oven where the turkey was half burned on the outside and raw on the inside. "This is a disaster," Ashley said, crying. A complete catastrophe. Tyler's family is going to think we're a family of crazy people. That's when the doorbell rang. Everyone froze. It was 3 o'clock. Tyler's family was arriving 2 hours early. "They're here," Margaret whispered, as if announcing the apocalypse. Ashley went into total panic. "I can't let them in. Look at this house. Look at this kitchen." But it was too late. Robert was already opening the door. "Johnson family, so good to see you," he said with a forced smile, trying to block the view of the destroyed kitchen. Tyler's mother, an elegant 55-year-old woman named Patricia, entered the house followed by her husband, 2 adult children, sisters-in-law, brothers-in-law, and 5 children, 15 people, exactly as planned. "What a delicious smell," Patricia said, inhaling the air. Then she made a face. "Wait, what is that smell?" Ashley appeared in the living room with red eyes from crying and tried to smile. "Hi, everyone. Welcome. We're just finishing up some details in the kitchen." But one of the children had already run to the kitchen and was shouting, "Grandma, come see! There's smoke coming from the oven." Patricia followed the child to the kitchen and stopped at the door, mouth agape. The kitchen looked like it had been hit by a tornado. Margaret was trying to save the burned turkey, Robert was struggling with mashed potatoes that looked like cement, and Ashley simply collapsed in a chair, crying. "Well," Patricia said after a long silence, "this is interesting." Faced with the catastrophe, they had to order pizza, 5 large pizzas for 15 people on Thanksgiving dinner. While waiting for delivery, Patricia made subtle but cutting comments about family traditions and the importance of knowing how to cook for a future wife. Ashley spent the rest of the evening apologizing and promising that this had never happened before. But the damage was done. Tyler's family left early, right after the pizza, with polite excuses about being tired from the trip. After everyone left, the family sat in the living room in complete silence, surrounded by empty pizza boxes and the reality that they depended on Maya much more than they had ever imagined. Think about this. How many times do we only value people when they're no longer available? Leave in the comments, have you ever realized you depended on someone much more than you imagined? While her family had to deal with the disastrous Thanksgiving Day, on the other side of the country, Maya's day was being different. Maya was about to enter the most important meeting of her career. The TechFlow Solutions conference room had an entire glass wall overlooking San Francisco Bay. Maya had never seen anything so beautiful in a work meeting. While waiting for the CEO to arrive, she organized her documents on the polished mahogany table and took a deep breath. Maya Williams. A man of approximately 45 years entered the room, followed by 2 women. "I'm James Mitchell, CEO of TechFlow. This is Karen, our marketing director, and Lisa, finance director." Maya stood up and greeted everyone with a firm handshake. "Very nice to meet you. Thank you for the opportunity." "The pleasure is ours," James said, sitting at the table. "Victoria showed us your work, and we were very impressed. But we want to hear directly from you how you plan to approach our challenge." For the next hour, Maya presented her marketing strategy for launching TechFlow's new patient monitoring system. She explained how she would combine traditional digital marketing with medical influence campaigns, how she would use data to segment hospitals by size and need, and how she would create educational content that showed the real value of the product. "Impressive," Karen said when Maya finished. "You really understand our market. Most consultants we interviewed focused only on generic digital strategies." "Exactly," Lisa added. "Your ROI plan is very detailed. You clearly did your homework." James leaned forward. "Maya, can I be direct with you? We interviewed 8 candidates for this project. You're the only one who presented a strategy that truly understands the medical technology market and how to communicate with decision makers in hospitals." Maya felt her heart race. "Thank you. I spent a lot of time researching the sector and understanding how hospitals make purchasing decisions." "That's very clear," James said. "We want to close with you. The $15,000 contract for the next 3 months, starting next Monday." Maya could hardly believe what she was hearing. "Really? Completely serious," James smiled. "And Maya, If this campaign generates the results we expect, we want to discuss an annual contract. We're talking about expanding nationally, and we need someone who understands both technology and marketing like you do. After they signed the contracts and Maya left TechFlow, Victoria was waiting in the lobby with a huge smile on her face. "So, how did it go?" Victoria asked, although she already knew from Maya's expression. "They closed with me. $15,000, Victoria, and they mentioned an annual contract if everything works out." Victoria hugged Maya. "I knew it. I knew they would love you. Maya, you have no idea what this means. TechFlow has connections throughout Silicon Valley. If you impress them, doors will open." They went to dinner at an elegant restaurant in downtown San Francisco. While Maya savored grilled salmon and talked about business strategies, she thought about the irony of the situation. At that exact moment, her family was probably dealing with the consequences of the Thanksgiving culinary disaster. "Maya," Victoria said, after ordering dessert, "I want to ask you a question." "Go ahead." "Don't you want to move to the West Coast? I have 3 clients here in San Francisco who are looking for exactly the type of service you offer. And there's a consulting company I know that could also use your services." Maya almost choked on her wine. "Are you serious?" "Completely. Look, I know the market here. With your qualifications and the work you do, you could easily be making $15,000 a month just here in the Bay Area." $15,000 a month, Maya. Maya did the math in her head. $15,000 a month was $180,000 a year, more than she had ever dreamed of earning, more than her entire family earned together. "But I would have to move completely," Maya said, more to herself than to Victoria. "It would be a big change," Victoria agreed. "But think about it. You're 28 years old. You're young, talented, with no ties. When will you have another opportunity like this?" No ties. The phrase echoed in Maya's mind. Was it true? Did she really have no ties? Her family certainly didn't treat her as if her presence was important. They saw her as a housemaid, not as a daughter. "You don't need to decide anything now," Victoria continued, "but I want you to know the opportunity exists. And Maya, after working with you for 2 years, I can say with certainty, you have the potential to be one of the top digital marketing consultants on the West Coast." After dinner, Victoria took Maya back to the hotel. "Rest well tonight. Tomorrow I'm going to introduce you to 2 of my contacts, informal meetings, just so you can get to know the market here." In the hotel room, Maya sat on the bed and turned on her laptop. She had several messages from clients, but no missed calls from family, not even a text message. Apparently, they were too busy dealing with the Thanksgiving chaos to worry about how she was doing. Maya smiled and started responding to work emails. For the first time in her life, she felt truly valued. James from TechFlow treated her as a respected professional. Victoria saw her as a promising businesswoman for important deals. Here in San Francisco, Maya wasn't the daughter who cooked and cleaned. She was Maya Williams, digital marketing consultant. She opened a new document on her laptop and started taking notes about what Victoria had said. Moving to California would be a huge decision. But for the first time, Maya was considering the possibility of building a life based on what she wanted, not what others expected from her. Her phone rang. It was a text message from a number she didn't recognize. "Maya, this is Karen from TechFlow. I forgot to mention today. Do you know anyone who works with medical content marketing? We have another project and want your recommendations." Maya smiled. They weren't just hiring her, they were asking for her recommendations. They trusted her professional judgment. Through the hotel window, Maya could see the lights of San Francisco shining in the night. Each light represented possibilities, opportunities, a life she could build based on her own merit and talent. Maya closed her laptop and lay down on the bed. Tomorrow she would have more meetings, meet more people, explore more opportunities. And by the end of the weekend, she would have to make a decision: go back home and continue being treated like a housemaid, or take the next step toward a life that truly valued who she was. For the first time in 28 years, Maya had the power to choose her own destiny. It was Friday morning, and Maya had slept better than she had in years. She was finishing getting ready when her phone started ringing. When she saw "home" on the screen, she hesitated for a few seconds before answering. "Hello?" "Maya!" Robert's voice exploded from the phone. "Where the hell are you? Do you have any idea what you did yesterday?" Maya pulled the phone away from her ear for a moment. "Good morning to you too, Dad." "Don't give me good morning. You ruined Thanksgiving. Tyler's family left. Ashley is devastated. Your mother hasn't stopped crying." Maya sat on the edge of the hotel bed. "I left a note explaining that I had a work trip." "Work trip?" Robert shouted. "What work trip? You work on your computer in your room." "What job is so important that it's more important than your family?" "A job that pays my bills," Maya replied calmly. "Your bills? Maya, you live in our house. You eat our food, you use our internet, and the only thing we ask in return is that you help with the house." Maya took a deep breath. This was exactly what she expected. To Robert, she was nothing more than an employee who received room and board in exchange for domestic services. "Dad, I can explain when I get back." "When are you coming back? When, Maya? Because your sister is sick." Robert passed the phone to Margaret, who was clearly crying. "Maya, dear, please tell me you're okay." Margaret's voice was choked. "I'm very worried. You've never done this before." "I'm fine, Mom. I'm working." "But Maya, what happened yesterday was terrible. Tyler's mother made horrible comments about our family. She said she doesn't understand how a disorganized family like ours is going to raise an adequate daughter-in-law for her son." Maya felt a pang of something. Guilt. Pity. She wasn't sure what... "Ashley is devastated," Margaret continued. "She spent the entire night crying. Tyler called this morning asking if our family is always this disorganized." "Mom, Maya, dear, I know sometimes we ask too much of you, but you're so good with these domestic things. You make everything look easy. Yesterday we discovered how hard it is to do what you do." It was the first time Margaret acknowledged that Maya actually worked at home, but even so, she was framing it as if it were Maya's natural talent, not real work. "I need to hang up, Mom. I have a meeting." "Wait, don't hang up. Let me talk to Ashley. She wants to talk to you." Maya heard the sound of the phone being passed, and then Ashley's tearful voice. "Maya? Maya, please don't be mad at me." "I'm not mad, Ashley." "Yes, you are. You left because you're mad at me." Ashley was clearly having a crying fit. "I know sometimes I complain about the food or ask you to do things for me, but I didn't know you were upset." Maya almost laughed. Ashley still didn't understand. She thought Maya had left because of complaints about food. "Tyler is questioning everything now," Ashley continued sobbing. "He asked how our family functions day to day. He asked if we're always this chaotic. Maya, what if he cancels the engagement?" "Ashley, if Tyler cancels the engagement because you couldn't cook a dinner, maybe he's not the right person for you." "How can you say that? You don't understand. His family is perfect. They do everything right. And yesterday they discovered our family is a mess." Maya remained silent. Ashley was more worried about Tyler's family's opinion than about the fact that they depended so much on Maya. "Please come back, Maya," Ashley begged. "I promise I'll help more. I'll learn to cook. I'll clean my own room. Just don't be mad at me." The phone was passed back to Margaret. "Maya, dear, we need you. The house doesn't work without you. We don't work without you." It was exactly what Maya expected to hear, but also exactly what confirmed her worst fears. They didn't miss her as a daughter or sister. They missed her as a housemaid. "I'll be back Sunday," Maya said finally. "Sunday, but today is Friday. That's still 2 days. I have work to finish here." "What work, Maya? Please, explain to me what this work is." Maya looked out the hotel window. Below, people walked the streets of San Francisco, each living their own life, pursuing their own dreams. "When I get back, we'll talk," Maya said. "I need to hang up now." "Maya, wait." But Maya hung up the phone. Over the next 2 days, her phone rang constantly. Robert called 3 more times, always shouting. Margaret called 5 times, alternating between pleas and emotional blackmail. Ashley called 7 times, crying and promising to be a better sister. Maya listened to some of the calls. Others, she simply let go to voicemail. The voice messages were all variations of the same theme. We need you. The house is a mess. Please come back. None of them said, we miss you. None said, we worry about you. They were all about what Maya could do for them, not about who Maya was as a person. On Saturday night, Maya was having dinner with Victoria and 2 potential new clients when Robert called for the 10th time. This time, she answered, Maya, enough of this nonsense. Come home. Now. It's not nonsense, Dad. It's my life. Your life? Maya, your life is here, with your family. Maya looked around the elegant restaurant. Victoria was talking animatedly with clients about a new campaign. Well-dressed people were dining and laughing. Attentive waiters served expensive wine. It was a world where Maya was treated as a respected professional, not as a housemaid. Maybe it is, Maya said. But maybe it's not. And for the first time in her life, Maya hung up the phone in the middle of a conversation with her father. How many times have you felt valued only for what you do for others, not for who you are? Leave in the comments. How would you react if you were in Maya's place? On Saturday night, after the 10th call without an adequate response from Maya, Robert was furious. He paced around the house like a caged lion, muttering about ungrateful daughters and lack of respect. She's hiding something, Robert said to Margaret, who was sitting on the couch trying to watch TV. Maya has never acted like this, never disappeared, never hung up the phone on me. Maybe she just needs some time, Margaret suggested, without much conviction. Time, Margaret. She ruined Thanksgiving. She humiliated our family. And now she's acting like she owns her own life. Ashley appeared in the living room, still in pajamas even though it was 8 at night. She had spent the last 2 days alternating between crying and calling Maya. Tyler still hasn't called back, Ashley murmured. He said he needed to think about some things after what happened Thursday. Robert slammed his fist on the table. See? Maya destroyed your engagement. And she's somewhere having fun while our family falls apart. Dad, Ashley said hesitantly, don't you think we were maybe a little too hard on Maya over the years? Robert looked at his daughter as if she had said something absurd. Hard? Ashley? We gave Maya house, food, everything. The only thing we asked was for her to help with household chores. But Dad, she did everything, literally everything, cooking, cleaning, washing, ironing. So what? She lived here for free. Margaret shifted uncomfortably on the couch. Robert, maybe Ashley has a point. Maybe we asked too much of Maya. Nonsense, Robert exploded. Maya was always good at those things. She liked cooking and cleaning. She never complained. Because she never complains about anything, Ashley said quietly. Maya never complains about anything, Dad. Robert ignored his daughter's observation and continued pacing around the room. What I don't understand is this work trip story. What work? Maya works on her computer in her room. What kind of important job could she have? An idea began to form in Robert's head. He stopped pacing and looked at the stairs. I'm going to find out, he said, determined. Find out what? Margaret asked. What Maya has been doing in that room. If she has some job that's so important, there must be documents, papers, something. Robert, you can't search Maya's room. Of course I can. It's my house, and Maya is my daughter. I have the right to know what she's been up to. Robert went upstairs determined, with Margaret and Ashley behind him, protesting weakly. He opened Maya's bedroom door without ceremony. The room was tidy, as always. Bed made, clothes in place, desk organized. Robert went straight to the desk and started opening drawers. In the first drawer, he found pens, clips, normal office supplies. In the second, some papers that looked like internet and phone bills. But in the third drawer, Robert found a file folder. What is this? He muttered, taking the folder from the drawer. Inside the folder, there were documents that made Robert's eyes widen, bank statements, signed contracts, invoices, and numbers he never imagined he would see associated with Maya's name. "Margaret," Robert called with a strange voice. "Come see this." Margaret approached and looked over her husband's shoulder. "My God," she whispered. Ashley ran to see too. "What is it? What did you find?" Robert was holding a bank statement from Maya's account. The current balance showed $47,350. $47,000, Robert read aloud, as if he couldn't believe what he was seeing. "Maya has $47,000 in her account." "That's impossible," Margaret said. "It must be a mistake." But Robert continued rummaging through the papers. He found contracts with company names he had never heard of, digital marketing service invoices, payment receipts from clients in various states. "Look at this," Robert said, showing an invoice. "Client, Johnson and Associates, Dallas, Texas. Service, digital marketing campaign. Amount, $3,200. Date, November. $3,200? Ashley repeated. For one job? A job she did in her room? Robert continued reading documents. Here's another one. Client, Seattle Tech Solutions. Amount, $4,800. And here, another, Portland Medical Group, $2,900. Margaret sat on Maya's bed, trying to process the information. "Amaya is making over $10,000 a month working on the computer." "It seems so," Robert said, still searching through the papers. "And look at this." He found a document that made everyone fall silent. It was a contract proposal from TechFlow Solutions. Amount, $15,000 for 3 months of work. $15,000, Ashley whispered. Did Maya close a $15,000 contract? Robert sat in the desk chair, holding the papers. "Maya is making more money per month than I make," he said slowly. "Much more." "How is this possible?" Margaret asked. "How did she learn to do this? And why did she never tell us?" Ashley added. Robert looked around the small room with new eyes. Maya was making over $100,000 a year and lived as if she had no money at all. She was paying for everything, Robert suddenly realized. On the credit card she uses to buy clothes, the beauty products she buys, she was paying with her own money. Margaret picked up another document. "Look at this. She has a business registration, Digital Dreams, digital marketing consulting. Maya has a company, Robert, a real company. And we thought she stayed in her room playing on the computer," Ashley said, her voice full of shame. Robert stood up and walked to the room's window. "And while I was fighting with her for abandoning the family, she was closing contracts worth thousands of dollars. While I complained that she didn't put enough whipped cream in my coffee," Ashley murmured, "she was building a career." Margaret looked at all the documents scattered on the bed. "Guys, Maya isn't our housemaid. Maya is a businesswoman. Maya is wealthy," Robert said simply. "Our daughter is wealthy, and we treated her like she was a maid." The silence that filled the room was heavy and uncomfortable. For years, they had assumed Maya had no ambitions, no special talents, no capacity for more than taking care of the house. And all those years, Maya was building a digital marketing empire right under their noses. "What do we do now?" Ashley asked. Robert put all the papers back in the folder, trying to leave everything exactly as he found it. "Now we understand why Maya isn't desperate to come home," he said. "She doesn't need us. Actually, she never needed us." When they went downstairs to the living room, the family sat in silence for a long time, each processing the discovery that Maya, the daughter they saw as invisible, was actually the most successful person in the family, and she chose to spend Thanksgiving closing the biggest contract of her career instead of cooking for them. Maybe, Robert thought, Maya knew exactly what she was doing. The taxi stopped in front of the house at 3 p.m. on Sunday. Maya paid the fare with cash, took her small suitcase, and walked to the front door. 3 days earlier, she had left this same house as the invisible daughter who cooked and cleaned. Now, she was returning as Maya Williams, digital marketing consultant, who had just closed the biggest contract of her career. She didn't use her key. Instead, she rang the doorbell and waited. Robert opened the door, and the expression on his face changed immediately when he saw Maya. She was wearing a light blue blouse he had never seen, dark jeans and new shoes. They weren't expensive clothes, but they were different. More importantly, there was something different about her posture. Maya wasn't looking at the floor like she always did. She was looking directly into his eyes. "And Maya," Robert said, not knowing exactly how to react. "You came back." "Hi, Dad." Maya entered the house without waiting for an invitation. "Can we talk? The whole family together." Of course. Margaret, Ashley, Maya's back." Margaret and Ashley appeared quickly in the living room. Margaret ran to hug Maya, but stopped halfway when she realized Maya didn't move to return the hug. "Maya, dear, so good that you're back. We were so worried." Ashley stood near the stairs, clearly not knowing what to say. In the last 3 days, she had rehearsed 1,000 different apologies. But now that Maya was there, none of them seemed adequate. "Sit," Maya said, indicating the couch. It wasn't a request. It was almost an order, said with a firmness that no one in the family was used to hearing from Maya. Robert, Mars, Margaret, and Ashley sat on the couch while Maya stood in front of them. It was a complete reversal of the family's usual dynamics. "First of all," Maya began, "I want you to know that during the last 3 days, while I was working in California, you discovered some things about me." The expression on Robert's face changed immediately. Margaret became visibly uncomfortable, and Ashley lowered her eyes. "From the way you're reacting, I can see you found my work documents." The silence in the room was total. Robert had the decency to look embarrassed. "Maya," Margaret tried, "we were just worried." "No, Mom, you were curious. You wanted to understand how I could have something more important than cooking Thanksgiving dinner." Maya walked to the window and then turned to face the family again. "I'm going to explain everything, but first you're going to listen to me. No interruptions, no justifications. You're going to really listen to me for the first time in 28 years. Ashley shifted uncomfortably on the couch, but said nothing. 5 years ago, I started working with digital marketing. I learned on my own, studying at night after you went to sleep. I started small, helping local businesses with social media. Today, I have a registered company called Digital Dreams. I have clients in 8 different states. And yes, I make more money per month than Dad makes at his job." Robert swallowed hard. Seeing Maya speaking so confidently about business was like meeting a completely new person. "On Thursday, while you were discovering that you don't even know how to cook an egg without me, I was in San Francisco closing a $15,000 contract. $15,000, Dad. For 3 months of work." "Maya," Ashley managed to whisper, "why did you never tell us?" Maya looked directly at her sister. "When, Ashley, when could I have told you? Between cooking your special breakfast and cleaning your room, between washing your clothes and listening to you complain that the Wi-Fi was slow, when exactly did you show interest in my life?" Ashley lowered her eyes, with no answer. "You want to know the truth," Maya continued. "I'll give you the truth. I feel invisible in this house. I exist here as a housemaid who works in exchange for room and board." "Maya, that's not true," Margaret protested. "You're our daughter." "Am I? When was the last time you asked how my day was? When was the last time you celebrated an achievement of mine? When was the last time you included me in an important family decision?" Maya paused, letting the questions linger in the room. "Dad, you yell at me when the coffee isn't strong enough. Ashley, you complain when your pancakes don't turn out the way you want. Mom, you assume I'll be available for any household task that comes up. None of you have ever asked if I have my own plans, my own dreams, my own life." Robert tried to speak, but Maya wasn't finished. "Thursday was the first time in my life that I chose my own interests instead of yours. And you know what I discovered? I discovered that I'm good at what I do. I discovered that people respect me. I discovered that I can be valued for what I think, not just for what I do for others." Ashley began to cry silently. "I'm not telling you this to hurt you," Maya said, with a softer voice. "I'm telling you because I love you. But I can't live anymore as if my only function in this family is to serve everyone. What do you want from us? Robert asked, and for the first time, Maya heard humility in his voice. I want respect. I want to be treated as a daughter and sister, not as a maid. I want you to be genuinely interested in my life. And I want you to understand that I have the right to make choices for myself, even when those choices don't suit you. Maya sat in the armchair facing the couch, looking at each family member. If you can do that, we can try to rebuild our relationship as a real family. If you can't, she paused. If you can't, our relationship will be limited to birthday phone calls and Christmas visits. The ultimatum was given. For the first time in her life, Maya had put her own needs first and made it clear that she would no longer accept being treated as a second-class citizen in her own family. You don't need to answer me now, Maya said, standing up. Think about what I said. But think seriously, because this is the only chance you have to have me back as a real daughter and sister. Maya went up to her room, leaving the family in complete silence to process the first honest conversation they had had in years. Have you ever had to confront people close to you about how they treat you? Leave in the comments. How was that experience for you? During the week that followed the conversation in the living room, the house remained in a strange silence. The family processed Maya's ultimatum while she continued her normal routine, but with a difference. Now everyone knew who she really was. Robert tried several times to start conversations about work with Maya during breakfast. Margaret asked about her clients. Ashley even formally apologized for years of spoiled behavior. They were small but significant steps. On Thursday, Maya received a call that would change everything. Maya, how are you? It was Victoria, calling from San Francisco. Hi, Victoria, I'm fine. How are things there? Fantastic, and that's what I'm calling about. Remember I asked if you wanted to move here? Well, after your success with TechFlow, I talked about you to some acquaintances of mine. Maya sat on the edge of the bed, curious. 3 different companies contacted me this week, asking if I knew any competent digital marketing consultants. When I mentioned your name and showed the work you did for me and TechFlow, they were all interested in meeting you. Maya's heart started beating faster. These are big contracts, Maya. One company alone already offered $15,000 per month just to start. If you can close deals with all 3, you could be making over $20,000 monthly. It's an incredible opportunity. Maya looked out her bedroom window, seeing the house where she had lived for 28 years. A week ago, the decision would have been impossible. But now, after finally laying her cards on the table with the family, things seemed different. But it would have to be in person, Victoria continued. These companies are quite traditional. They like face-to-face meetings, live presentations. You would have to move to San Francisco. It's a big decision, Maya said. I know. But Maya, after working with you for 2 years, I can say you're ready for this. The market here values talent, and you have a lot of talent. That night, during dinner, Maya shared the conversation with the family. San Francisco, Ashley repeated, with wide eyes. But that's on the other side of the country. Several companies are interested in my work, Maya explained. Victoria said I could make over $20,000 a month. Robert, who was learning to respect Maya's professional decisions, nodded slowly. It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. But you just came back home, Margaret said, her voice choked. We just understood how we treated you badly. We were trying to improve. Maya looked at her mother with affection. Mom, you are improving. This week was different. You really listened to me for the first time. Then why leave? Ashley asked. Because this is my chance to build the life I always wanted. And because now I know our relationship can survive distance, as long as it's based on respect. Maya spent the next few days thinking. It was a difficult decision, but deep down, she knew what the right answer was. On Monday, she called Victoria. I want to meet these companies. When can I go there for the meetings? That's great. I can schedule everything for next week. Maya, I'm sure they'll love you. 2 weeks later, Maya had met all 3 companies and closed contracts with all of them. The total amount was even higher than Victoria had mentioned, $24,000 per month. Robert, Margaret, and Ashley were helping Maya pack her things for the permanent move. It was surreal to see the family working together to support Maya's dreams instead of sabotaging them. "I'm going to miss you," Ashley said, hugging her sister. "I promise you'll teach me digital marketing by video call." "I promise. And do you promise you'll keep learning to cook?" Ashley laughed. "I promise. Tyler is even enjoying being my culinary guinea pig." Margaret was clearly emotional, but trying to be strong. "Will you call every Sunday?" "Every Sunday at 3 in the afternoon, your time," Maya confirmed. Robert, who had always been a man of few emotional words, surprised everyone. "Maya, I'm sorry for all these years. You deserve this opportunity. We're proud of you." At the airport, the goodbyes were emotional but hopeful. For the first time, Maya was leaving the family knowing she was loved and valued for who she was, not for what she did for them. 6 months later, Maya was established in a beautiful apartment in San Francisco, working with the best technology companies on the West Coast. Victoria was right. The market there really valued talent. Every Sunday at 3 in the afternoon, East Coast time, the family gathered for a video call. Ashley showed her culinary progress, Margaret shared neighborhood news, and Robert always asked about Maya's projects. "How's the contract with that robotics company?" Robert asked during one of the calls. "We closed the campaign yesterday. They were so satisfied they already want to renew for next year," Maya replied, proudly. "That's incredible." "My sister, the famous San Francisco executive," Ashley joked. During holidays, Maya returned home. But now it was different. She was received as a special guest, not as a housemaid. The family cooked for her, asked about her life in California, treated her with the respect she had always deserved. "Are you happy?" Margaret asked during one of these visits, while they walked through the neighborhood where Maya grew up. "Very happy, Mom. And you?" "Are you doing well without me?" Margaret smiled. "We're learning. Ashley became a decent cook. I went back to taking care of our house. And your father. Well, your father talks about you with pride to everyone who wants to listen." In her San Francisco apartment, overlooking the bay, Maya reflected on the journey that brought her there. 18 months ago, she was invisible in her own family. Today, she was one of the most sought-after digital marketing consultants on the West Coast, earning almost $300,000 a year, and had a family that finally valued her. More importantly, Maya had learned that sometimes the greatest act of love we can show is having enough courage to pursue our own dreams. And sometimes, teaching people to value us means being willing to live without them, until they learn to live with us the right way. Maya closed her laptop after finishing another successful campaign. Outside, the lights of San Francisco shone, each representing a possibility, a dream, a life being built by someone brave enough to believe in themselves. And Maya knew she was one of those lights. And so, Maya completely transformed her life. From an invisible daughter treated like a housemaid, she became a respected businesswoman, an independent woman living her dreams in San Francisco, and finally, a daughter and sister valued by her own family. What began as a moment of courage, choosing her career instead of cooking Thanksgiving dinner, transformed into the decision that changed not only Maya's life, but her entire family's. Sometimes, a single courageous choice can rewrite our entire story. Maya's journey also shows us the power of professional sisterhood. Victoria, a successful woman, recognized Maya's talent and offered genuine help, connecting her with opportunities that changed her life. It was a beautiful example of how one professional woman can elevate another, opening doors and sharing contacts without expecting anything in return. The most powerful lesson from this story is, never underestimate your own worth. For years, Maya accepted being treated as less than she deserved because she believed her role was only to serve people. But when she finally recognized her own talent and had the courage to prioritize it, she discovered a world of possibilities that had always been within her reach. The moral of this story is clear. You don't need to diminish yourself to make others feel important. You don't need to accept crumbs of respect and attention. You deserve to be valued for who you are, not just for what you do for others. Maya proves to us that setting boundaries isn't selfishness, it's self-love. And when you value yourself, you teach other people to value you too. Now, we want to hear from you. Is there any situation in your life where you're accepting less respect than you deserve? What change do you need to make to be valued for who you really are? Share your reflection in the comments. Your story might inspire someone who's going through the same situation Maya went through. If this story touched your heart and made you reflect on your own relationships, leave a like on this video. Subscribe to our channel for more stories that inspire positive life changes, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of our exciting stories. Your transformation journey can start today, just like it did for Maya.